Greetings once again, and happy holidays. This happened very quickly. We're already here in mid-December, and I hope you got your Christmas shopping done. Everything's wrapping up. Congratulations to New York City FC for lifting MLS Cup. I think there's a lot of good residual stuff out of that team winning, and I think we're going to see it. I think New York City FC is poised to become, in MLS terms, a super club, competing for these trophies every year. They've always were pretty good, but I think they've made that breakthrough. The City Group, the club that owns Manchester City and a few others, have finally seen what is actually possible and how their club system can help each other. New York City FC's two of their better players came from Torque in Montevideo, which is one of the clubs in the City Group system. Valentin Castellanos, rumored to perhaps be heading to West Ham United or Europe. The price tag, according to a few people, including Taylor Twellman on social media, is $15 million. So they're going to keep coming. They have made a lot of investments in young South American players. So I think this cycle is going to go. They got a great coach. So this is great news to have a big super club in New York. They need a new stadium. I don't see anything out there when I look around suggesting they're going to get one, which is a real bummer, but still pretty solid. Congratulations to Atlas in Mexico for winning a title for the first time in 70 years. If you didn't watch that game as they beat León, you missed out. This was truly a remarkable vision to see these fans that have suffered so long to finally get through and have that moment. So it was a good weekend as we put a bow on a very event-driven, non-stop 2021, where it was just like this. Now we just have a couple weeks left. And today I'll be continuing the series on American players that may be looking for new clubs in the new year. We talked about Christian Pulisic. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. It rings very true. Is it time to move from Chelsea? There might be a bunch of Americans moving out today on the Soccer OG. Lot for you to listen and watch here on the Soccer OG channels. The Soccer OG podcast right now with Eric Winalda. I think we had and it came out really good. The numbers have been one of my top 3 podcasts ever. It's out right now. Go to where all podcasts are available and check out that podcast. And please like and subscribe this YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about Sergiño Dest. The writing on the wall seems much firmer than what we're seeing with Christian Pulisic. Everything is suggesting, including from the player, that he wants out of Barcelona, and Barcelona want him out if the price is right, because he's still a very valuable commodity. He joined Barca for about $25 million, and Barcelona, who need every penny, are willing to part ways if they have a similar price. The good news is there are a lot of clubs interested in him, and we'll get to that. But let's talk a little bit about Sergiño Dest. It's something that I just don't really care for. And I've been seeing a lot of people saying it on Twitter, but I was the first to mention it. You can check my Twitter handle. I mentioned this 2 months ago when I was the first to identify it. I know I sound very petty when I say that, but it's true. This is what my YouTube and podcast is all about. I notice things, and people repeat what I say. Maybe not that's the case, but they do. Sergiño Dest is the Barcelona fall guy. Every time there is fingers pointed outside of managers, it's Sergiño Dest. Tweets like this where they show him getting ripped apart by Alphonso Davies. Barcelona making it abundantly clear Sergiño Dest is not good enough. Have you seen a Barcelona game recently? That whole team's not good enough. And new manager Xavi right now hasn't been good enough. He has inherited a mess, but he didn't even get a new manager rub. He has been in charge for 6 games, 2 wins. And during his reign, they have been bumped out of the Champions League, and now they reside in the Europa League. So no one's been good enough, yet Sergiño Dest continues to be the guy. Oh my God. Oh, Sergiño Dest. Have you seen Gerard Piqué or Philippe Coutinho? Or Andre Ter Stegen, some of these kids who make mistakes all the time. And if Sergiño Dest was so bad, why are Bayern Munich and Manchester City and Roma interested in his services? He hasn't, I will add this, he's not been very good by and large, but that's part of the whole Barcelona team. But he's had some moments here and there which suggest that he's pretty good at that position. And it should get a better look. Right now, and Xavi has said it in faith, you can tell in reports that he's lost faith. Dest, who's been far from 100%, still dealing with back pain. In the 6 games that he has been here under Xavi, Dest has started 2 of those games. He started as a right winger once, started as a right back in a loss to Betis, did not play in 3 of those games, came in the 86th minute in another of those games. So obviously not high on the pecking order for Xavi, which is fine. Xavi's looking at some of the younger players like Mingueza and Eric Garcia, who apparently is also on the chopping block. But then they bring in Dani Alves, which he's not going to play. But why bring in Dani Alves, who's a right back? If you're a young right back and your club brings in Dani Alves, you're going to be like, why? There was a rumor of Cesar Azpilicueta from Chelsea. So all of this, that messes with the guy's head. If he's reading this, maybe he's not. But it appears to me that Sergiño Dest has been dealt a few blows and forced to jump a lot of hurdles. Now, statistically, and you look at the analytics, and that carries a lot of weight, Dest is passing the buck. He is first among all Barcelona players in expected assists. He is first in dribbles completed, first in tackles won. I'm sorry, the last 2 stats I'm giving you are players under 20, which there are several for Barcelona. First in dribbles completed, first in tackles won, first in chances created, first in fouls drawn, second in assists. So, what do we... Show me the data that says he has been the Achilles heel for Barcelona's misery. It's clear that they've lost faith in this player, and they're moving him around, much like we've seen that with Christian Pulisic, moving him around, and he's not complaining. He's played, in one case, he played as the right winger in the front 3, which is quite a move. Pretty good crosser of the ball, as we can see with the stats. But he is, and we've seen his shortcomings as a full-on right back, and I'm not going to argue that at all here. But look, again, he has not been perfect, but I'm going to stick up for our guys. And the question with Xavi, who did not bring in Dest, obviously. Dest was a Ronald Koeman guy, and Koeman started him all the time. But now we talked about all those, I forgot to mention Ronald Araujo, Sergi Roberto. Dest is competing with these guys for playing time. He is not in a position to succeed. And according to El Nacional, a publication, Dest is not happy or confident at Barcelona. Barcelona's not a great place to play right now. Currently, they are in 8th place, 18 points off the leaders, Real Madrid in La Liga, 5 points out of the Champions League spots. Xavi right now, one and only goal, and people are going, hey, Barcelona's in the Europa League now. They're going to win it. They're not going to win it. Their number one goal is to finish in those top 4 spots in Spain, which they can do. What is this January transfer window going to look like for Barcelona? Sounds like, when we hear Barcelona and you hear that you can't spend this money, you're restricted here, my impression is that January is going to be really quiet. But all the reports suggest multiple players will be coming in and coming out. In addition to Dest, who is reported to be on the Barcelona transfer list, so is Andre ter Stegen. Frankie de Jong is on that as well. So Xavi wants his players in, and he wants them now. I've always said about Barcelona, maybe you've got to bite the bullet, swallow the pill for 2022, and then get out of the Champions League and really blow it out for the next year. But Xavi, he's come in, he wants results now. I get it. But is the club allowed to be that active? They've got to balance the books, at least in this transfer market. They can't go further in debt, right? That's going to be tricky. So in order to bring in players, they're going to have to get rid of players. And Dest is still a commodity as long as they don't shortchange them. But Barcelona is very desperate, so maybe they do shortchange them. This could get pretty murky right now for the Catalans. Everything that this club has gone through has been tricky. I mean, what about what Thomas Muller said after the Champions League game? He said, Barcelona can't withstand our intensity of play. He said, technique-wise, they're good, but incapable of competing with maximum intensity. Xavi pushed back and said, yes, we can. We're in a negative dynamic, but we can compete with that intensity. He's been he has not been complimenting the senior players very much. He has complimented the young players, which is fine, but he's been throwing quotes out all the time about this club. Defeatist mentality. It's pretty heavy-handed already, it seems like it, but this is Barcelona. It's a very high-profile job. So there's a lot there. I did one of those deep breaths. Someone goes, every time I'm on this, I go, it's kind of like a pause to get to the next point. Because I have a lot of information. I want to make sure I get it all. Here on the Soccer OG. Let's take a look. Let's ask the question first. Do I think Dest will leave in January? I think he will, because of all that energy pushed in and against him, and these clubs that are apparently on the list that want to bring him in. Now, remember, before he came to Barcelona, Bayern Munich wanted him when he was an Ajax player. We were all talking, Barcelona, Bayern, oh my God, this is amazing. This kid, what a decision. Ended up going to Barcelona. Bayern Munich seems very interested now, and they have some concerns as they want to really stock up for that next shift in 2022 to win back that Champions League, which they're capable of, defend the Bundesliga shield, which they'll probably do. They like Sergiño Dest a lot. It seems like a better fit. Now, in hindsight, I can say it. The price tag is okay. Now, where would he play, or will he play at Bayern Munich? Well, the man in front of him, the man who's playing at right back right now is Benjamin Pavard. And he's been playing regularly, but there was a report that they were going to do a switch for Pavard to Juventus. I believe it was his former club. Pavard back to Juventus. Apparently, it's not going to happen. I would imagine they keep Pavard, but the fact that that report is out there, maybe that is how they're looking at Pavard out, Dest in. However, Pavard is also projecting as a possible center back. And Bayern, from what I'm reading, say they want upgrade at right back, hence a guy who can move up. But wouldn't that be amazing with Dest on the right and Alphonso Davies on the left? We talked about Alphonso Davies, made him look bad, but Alphonso Davies makes everyone look bad. That would be a tremendous fullback situation, and Bayern Munich would bring in Dest on his own merits, but Bayern and the Bundesliga really pushing into the United States, and we know the Bundesliga recruiting so heavily with American players. Having North American fullbacks would be a nice little marketing tool as well. That's not why he would go there, but when you're looking at the books, you go, well, maybe that puts it over the top. Maybe that's why we get Sergiño Dest into this situation as well. So, to answer the question, will he leave? I say yes. Will he go to Bayern? I say that's the club he ends up with. And it will be interesting to see if there's a flurry of activity. Manchester City, Manchester. It's so much talent there, right? There's so much talent at Bayern, but there is that flexibility. And Manchester United have asked about him. They have the German manager. Their fullbacks are not, they have Wan-Bissaka, who's a really good defensive right back, but not a good upward moving right back who can cross the ball in, which Manchester United have been screaming for. So maybe that's a possibility. He is a very valuable asset. These clubs that are talking about it, and I would put Bayern 1, Manchester United 2, and Roma, which are been mentioned possibly at number 3. But I do believe it is going to happen here, and American players will keep talking about it because there's going to be activity. I feel more confident about Dest moving than Pulisic. I think Pulisic should move, but it just doesn't add up right now at this very moment for what Chelsea needs and what Barcelona, talking about two worlds colliding. Barcelona, possible landing spot for Pulisic Doesn't make sense with the money. And the other club, Liverpool, why would you sell Christian Pulisic if you're Chelsea to Liverpool, who is a direct rival for a variety of things, Champions League and the English Premier League, although Chelsea and Liverpool are not winning the Premier League. Manchester City is going to win it and win it comfortably. And I know people say I have grief against Chelsea. I really don't. But Chelsea are not winning any trophies this season. I think, here we go, the part where I look at my notes. I think I've covered it all. But Xavi has some answers to questions here. And without that coach rub to start a new regime, he's going to have to really prove himself in this January window, which I believe will include Sergiño Dest moving. This is the Soccer OG. So thrilled for you guys to be on board. The videos are coming. Big plans in early 2022, including a possible trip to Canada. Including a possible trip. And then 2022, a World Cup year. I won't get ahead of myself. We'll just say we got plans here at the Soccer OG. Please subscribe, like, check out the podcast. We'll see you here this weekend to recap the USA Bosnia and Herzegovina game in Carson, which I'm planning on attending to see how this group of players, mainly from Major League Soccer, played in the final game for the U.S. men's national team in 2021.